coding sequences. You need to know your certain guidelines. There's like a top 10 guidelines that I wrote out for people that get the what's been on the exam in the last 45 days. So people tell me what was on their exam, what codes, what kind of questions, and I put them all in a document. Now, the beginning of that document has the top 10 guidelines you need to know for sequencing, which is burns, adverse reactions to drugs, whether a doctor does it to you or you do it to yourself, things like that I go over in that document. So there's about 10 guidelines for sequencing you need to know. Cancer, that kind of thing, anemia, if it goes first or not. What does the times mean? Times means it's an add-on code. So if you haven't looked at the very beginning of your CPT book, guys, it is very helpful to read the instructions on how to use the CPT book. They tell you about the mama code and the children codes. They also tell you what types of codes there are, and they explain what an add-on code is. And these are the ones that you can multiply and what modifiers are, and then they give you examples. So an add-on code are the only ones that you can usually do times with. We don't times like the mama code, especially if it doesn't have an each word in it. But what we can do is we can times the add-on codes as soon as I can find one. You know, normally they're all over in my face, all over the place. But these, with the little bitty plus symbol in the front of them, are the ones you can times. I go through the entire book and I mark which ones you can and which ones you can't. There are some exceptions of some codes that you can times, but you don't know until you have to bill or code it. Like these two codes in the back, they are not add-on codes. They are not add-on codes. But you can times the mama code on this one. So I go through the entire book and add that to my notes, which is helpful if you want them. They're on my website in the store. But you can also keep practicing all these practice exam questions. You'll figure out which answers are the ones with the times, are the ones that you can times, and you do. So, and then you make your notes next to those codes, which is super helpful. So let's get to some practice exam questions, because I have chatted and not done any for some of my old timers here. So let's get into doing some of these practice exam questions. So we've got the 36245. Let's run to it first, because we want to see if we can add certain codes with it. We'll have rules next to it if we can. You know, you'll have those parentheticals at the bottom that'll say can use with this code, can't use with that code, that kind of thing. Make sure we're under the right header before we look at our secondary codes. So 36245, 36245, Travi. 36245. All right. 36245, and our difference is between it and our secondary. We're both arteries, abdominal, pelvic, and lower. We're either in the first order below the diaphragm, or we're in the second order if we happen to be doing the 26. Is there any do nots or do's with these? We can use our 4-8 with our 4-6 and our 4-7, but that code isn't listed there. So I don't see anything screaming at me saying not to use something with something. What's going on with our 3-6, since it's down there in all 3 of the options, all 4 of the options anyway. 3, 2, 3, 6. 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 6. 3, 6. 3, 7, 2. 3, 7, 2. 3, 6. Does it have any do's or do nots? It does. It says we can't report the 3, 6. Went too far.
That was all the shoes I took shoes laces out. Everything else is fine.
Dude, you can't be taking your brother's
shoelaces out of the shoes.
So we go open or percutaneous for stent repair. So we got stent repairs on everything, and it looks like they can go with them. So looks good. It looks like they can all go together. Here's our question. Get down through all these chats. Adding mesh was on the exam. Celiac disease is a big hint. Thank you, Ranty Randy. I love having him hang out with us. If y'all aren't following him, he also does CPC exam tips. No, Travis. Hey, Kimberly. Good to see your butterflies. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to get to everybody's questions. It's just a lot of them tonight. That's great. But, you know, answering how to... Nancy's question is rough because it's it's everything. It's how do I take the CPC exam, get a job? So first thing you got to do is get you a study guide. Then you got to get the new books for 2023. Then you got to get your practice exam questions. Then you got to practice your exam questions and make notes in your book. Getting a job will be later. You're just going to need to be aggressive and change your resume to go with every single application you submit. If they want a CPC who's done this, that, and the other thing, you're going to add all that into your resume, do a thesaurus, and change the wording up just a little bit, and then get past the computer so you can get an interview. You need to practice your interview skills in front of a mirror and do well with webinars. And there's plenty of people to watch on YouTube for how to answer all types of interview questions, and you need to practice just like you need to practice for the CPC exam. Does anybody have an answer for this one? Anybody want to take a guess? Are we adding a 7,000 code to these cardiology codes? Does that look like that would be a feasible thing to do? Travis, I'll deal with you when I get done with this lesson. Okay. I believe there are some around here somewhere that I stole from you, but because you were pulling them out of everything last week, and I've been squirreling them every time I see them laying around the house, knowing you stole them from somebody. But I'm not going to find it right now. I've spent enough time worrying with you and your shoes. Yes, that's what I just said, Travi. Add that to the dictionary. There we go. Some are saying A, some are saying C. We're going to do a radiology with a technical component for this one. So what did we do? We did a catheter. We did it percutaneously. We did a graphic some films, right? Anything else? And we did a stent. We know our stent is in this code, which is in every single one of the codes. Oh, the 36. It's in the 36 code. So that's our stent. So you just need to know, is radiographic included in your catheterization or not, really? B is your answer, which I don't think anybody had. And it's just simply the catheter with the stent, because this one includes your radiographic. You don't need to add anything else to it. And that's like a lot of CPC exams. If it's a difference between, and we knew it wasn't the 26, we knew it was going to be the 45, then the rest of them have 3 CPT codes with them versus B, which has just 2. Many, many, many times they want to see if they can trick you into overcoding. And so be conservative on the exam. And if it's a difference between 2 or 3 CPT codes, pick 2 if you know nothing else. And you don't know how else to code it. It's usually the more conservative route. This catheter included your radiographs. So things that I would add in, they've got that racer stent. What was that? That was our 7236. Well, I have notes here, but I don't have that it was called a racer stent. So I love finding their AKA names for things and adding it to my notes. So I'm just they gave it a proper name, capitalized in the middle of a sentence, a proper name. So I'm going to add that to that. And then I'll go back to our original code, the 36245, and add in, if I don't already have it down, that radiology is included in this one. 36245, 36245, 36245. Three, 6, 2, 4, 5. And they said diagnostic guiding was included. Do we have radiology included right there? They also gave the stent a proper name, which was called, or not the stent, the catheter. They gave the catheter a proper name as an RDC catheter. So taking things that they have in their own questions and adding them to our CPT codes, super helpful, because even if they switch up this exam question and flip it around, change the answers around, you might see RDC catheter in some questions somewhere, because they're not going to change their complete wording. And you might see racer stent listed in some questions somewhere. And just having what AAPC calls things in your book is super helpful. Can't tell you how many times I see their questions flipped around and written differently. But these proper names, just like what's in the parentheses in that EG, chemotherapy of the liver, super helpful. I was doing a question today with somebody. Ooh, I wish I could remember what question it was. I know it was in medicine. And the difference between the two CPT codes was turning a page. One was on the bottom of one page, one was in the top. And what was different was one was for chemotherapy. The other one wasn't, but it was in the parentheses. And that was it. It's the only way you could tell the difference. So they don't change them up very much, but that right there would be important. Yep. So we got B is our answer. B. Hopefully that is helpful. We found another question. Oops, I just lost my page. Cardiology, bring, come back up. Where's my little cover up thing? Oh. So this next one, ignore that. That's the answer to the one we already did earlier today from Appendix L. This one, we've got 3 that are 75, so I would run to that code real quick and see what's going on with that one. Would we add something else with it? Probably not. I would think my answer would be A, just looking at the answers, not even looking at the question, because I think that they're trying to make me add another code to it or add radiology to it, and I bet we don't have to. I bet everything's included in this one. 36475 is just going to be one page over. So we've got an ablation, radio frequency, yep, and all imaging is included. So imaging guidance is included, and monitoring, and we go through the skin percutaneously. Yep. I don't think there needs to be anything else. I would pick A and move on with my day. See how it includes all imaging? So it doesn't matter if it's just fluoroscope or what it is, but it says all of it, and monitoring. So it already includes your 26 modifier, anything that you could possibly think to add with it, it already includes because of that. Super helpful. Now, things I would add to this one is, includes ultrasound. You could always do that. Includes ultrasound. And then you could add that they went in through the greater SAP. Vein. And all the cardiology section, anytime they mention vein, I keep it blue and circle it blue because, in the back of the book, our Appendix L, arteries are in red, veins are in blue. So I keep my book the same. When my procedure is only in a vein, it's only marked in blue. If my procedure ends up being in an artery, then I circle it in red. That way, a lot of these practice exam questions are, the first thing you got to know is, am I in an artery or a vein? That will save your soul in cardiology, is just knowing where you're located at. Mama Swans, she's on. Good to see you. All right. Let me have y'all do the next one. And yes, the answer was right, A. That's the last one on that page. Let me pull up here. All right. Let's see what's going on with these 933s. How's it going? Good to see ya. If anybody is still awake, let's go to our 933 code. Let's see what's going on there. 933. Good grief. gracious. 93307. Here we go. So we got an echo. One with Doppler, one without Doppler, one limited. What's our 12? Our 12 is a total. Our 12 is trans-esophageal, and our 7 and 8 are transthoracic. Sorry about that. The transthoracic. So if we're thoracic, we're here. The 6 and 8 are wrong. This one's esophageal. That's right, I got it backwards. So these two are the thoracics. And then this one is our esophageal. So they're divided up into two categories. So the first thing you got to figure out, am I thoracic or esophageal? So we're thoracic, so we can get rid of those two. Then we just need to know, are we a 6 or a 7? So our difference between 6 and 7 is Doppler or no Doppler. Are we using a Doppler? Well, I see a Doppler. So we are using a Doppler, so that's our 6. So our answer is 6. Super easy. We don't need to know who they are, what's going on, none of that stuff. Just having those simple differences down is helpful. Knowing that you need to look for your header, those are thoracic, and this one is esophageal, is all you need. And you can code this technically without knowing what the heck you're coding or knowing anything about coding. If you just know from the codes what you need to look for, which is your difference. Thoracic, esophageal, get rid of the ones you don't need. Out of the two, what's the difference? Doppler or no Doppler? And then look for that one word. Not even knowing what in the world, what body part, nothing about medicine or coding. You could do it like this if you know what to look for. I'm here, but I'm driving. Listen along. I got to download Monday's live too and add that to our list here. Let's do some E&M. Go find some E&M. I had a modifier one that quiz I was working on that I haven't done yet with you guys. If we get bored with E&M, I'll do that one too. Let's see. E&M. Where am I at? I pulled down some new questions for E&M, I believe, that y'all have not seen. Maybe. These all seem so familiar now. Ooh. Okay, how about this one? So 34 is observation, right? Then we have inpatient hospital. Is that a discharge? One of them will be. And one of them will be admit with discharge, I bet. So what do you guys think on this one? Is it clear enough for you guys to see? How would we build this one? While I get a drink. I know it's fuzzy. There we go. Mr. Lovett loves D. We got a vote for D. Anybody else? We've got admit to the hospital, observation, admit and discharge. I think this is just a discharge only, and this is an admit and a discharge from observation. We got a vote for B. Another vote for D. So we've got the words admitted to observation. So we can get rid of admitted to the hospital one, at least. What do they want us to code? Down here at the bottom, they want us to code an admit and a discharge. So are we going to use our combo code, which is A? This one does admit and discharge all in one in observation. We have to get rid of C because that won't do both. Or are we going to do a separate charge for an admit and a separate charge for a discharge out of observation? So it has to be either A or D. The difference is the dates. This one was 1 day and this is the second day. If our admit and discharge had been both on the 21st, then we could have used A, but because it's two separate dates of services, we have to use an individual one. This will go for the 21st, and this discharge will be going for the 22nd. So because we have two different dates, we have to use two different codes. So our answer will be D on that one. So all you have to do is check your status. They were in observation. Make sure what they want you to code. They do want you to code admit and discharge. Then check your dates of service. That's all you need for this one. And there's your rationale for that one. Find you another one to do. Let's see. What about this one? All right, good. Let's go see. We've got, let's look up our codes first. So 21 is admit hospital, right? Admit hospital. I don't remember 31. What's 31? 231. What's 231, guys? Subsequent. All right. Those are subsequent. Hello, private. Subsequent, and 33 is subsequent hospital. So let's just check and see if we are doing an admit or if this patient is getting rounds on the next day and being subsequent visit. So I see third visit to the hospital room. So I know that this can't be initial admit, that we will be doing subsequent. And to do a subsequent, you need 2 out of 3 components to match to be able to bill a different level. Each one of these levels will have a different component that we need to make sure we're under before we can bill it. So we need history, we need exam, and we need MDM. We need to look for those, and 2 out of 3 of these need to match before we can bill a level. So we're going to have to look up all of those. So let's see. We did a problem-focused exam, which if I go look at these and go find the one that says problem-focused exam, it matches with the 3-1. Because our 3-2 is expanded problem-focused exam, and then our 3-3 is detailed exam. So we have to pick this one, 31. So our exam is a 31. And then let's see if we can find history or MDM. Our MDM is low, so I'm just going to go back and see which one has an MDM of low. And again, it is our 31. So with 31 being the correct code for our exam and MDM, we have 2 that match. That means B is our answer, and we can bill B. Once you get past 99215 in the front of E&M section, you have to make sure each answer has components and that they match. Some of them you have to match 3. All history, exam, and MDM have to match, or you have to match 2 of them. But that's after you get past the 99215. Everything from 99202 through 215 just needs time or MDM to match. And that's it. So hopefully that's helpful. Let's go see what's going on with these codes. 222 is initial admit hospital care, so admit hospital. 19, is that a discharge? What is that? What's our 19? Nope, initial observation. So admit observation. Ooh, if y'all could read my chicken scratch. 238. 238 is discharge from the hospital. And 223 is subsequent. Here we go. So I'm going to let y'all look at the question. I've already defined all the codes for you. Y'all just need to decide, are you admitting them to the hospital, admitting them to the observation, discharging them from the hospital, or visiting them for a subsequent visit? You guys tell me what's going on with this patient. Yep, these 2 words are all you really need to know. And it says if. It doesn't say they did do it. It just says if. So we'll definitely bill our admit into the hospital. And we only had 1 of them for admit to the hospital. They weren't admitted to observation. They weren't discharged yet. This is in a subsequent visit. Admit hospital. Perfect. What about this one? We've got an established patient. We've got a new patient. We've got established. What's our 253? Is that consultation? I think that's a consultation. All right. You know what keywords to search for. Based off that, are they new, established? Is this a consult? How would we bill? Anybody want to take a guess on this one? I got a vote for D. I've got a vote for established patient. You have some do's and do nots underneath some of these CPT codes. Be sure to review those. They will give you a lifeline as to what you can code with another code. Sometimes your do's and do nots are on a separate page from the code. You have to remember to look over for them. Or move them to the codes. The additional 45 minutes. The re-examine. All are very helpful. Yep, this is the only prolonged services code that you can add to the 15 or the 205 code. If you have the 205 code, you can add the 417 to it. These are the only two codes that go with that as of right now. Who knows what they're going to change these two come 2023, but we'll see. Let's see, this one's a long one. But we are either an established patient and maybe a wellness. So see what's going on here. Had 10 almost drop off, so I guess it's getting kind of late for you guys. Thanks for the hearts and the shares and the roses. Really appreciate it. 4,000 likes. Anybody want to take a guess? Is this an established? Patient's here for a 4-month checkup. So is that a wellness exam? Patient's here for a 4-month-old wellness exam. She has a cold, thrush, diaper rash, and doc did order some vaccines that the kid will get when they get feeling better. So if we're going to do a wellness exam, which one? Do you code it by itself or do you code it with an office visit also? There's a guideline attached to that. All wellness exams have no chief complaint. There should be no chief complaint. When you come in for your wellness exam, you should feel lovely and wonderful with no issues. If there is issues, and something needs to be evaluated, if the doctor does a full history of the issue, an exam of the issue, and makes a medical decision of that issue, then you can bill for another office visit at the same time. Is there a history of this baby having any of this thrush and diaper rash that could have been evaluated? The baby's too young for this because there's no recurring history of this, so we have to get rid of that. Did the doctor do a separate identifiable exam for a diaper rash that would not already be included in the wellness exam? Technically, no. Because they're going to check you from head to toe for the wellness anyway. Was there any procedure done, like a removal of a wart or something that could have been billed? You know, those kind of things. All he did was tell the mom to use over the counter. It may be okay to supplement with some Similac. Technically, they didn't meet enough components to be able to bill for a regular office visit to go along with it. So they didn't do anything beyond what was already going to be included in the wellness exam. So we're just going to bill for the wellness exam. Which is unusual. They'll ask this question again in some other format, and then they'll want that answer as the particular answer. AAPC gets funny with some of their questions sometimes. The slightest little difference will mean that they don't want it coded, and then the slightest difference, they do want it coded. So it's just one of those things we have to deal with them. Let me find another one. In telemedicine, claims for the E&M, let me get this thing to focus, are based on time. Which of the following is not required for the provider to document for telemedicine? C is correct, consent. Because by the time you log on to a computer and you go through all these steps to get online with a physician, consent is implied and you don't need consent. We do need the total time. We need to know what type of platform was used and the service type, which is funny. The patient consent is the one thing we don't need for that particular issue. All right, we've got consultation. We got hospitalization. Is that subsequent again? Let's see, or 33233. 233. That's subsequent. And then 3-4 is observation. So this ought to be fairly easy. We've got consultation, initial hospital visit, subsequent, or observation. Let you guys decide. What are we doing with this patient? All you really need is this first sentence right there. They were admitted yesterday. What are you doing today? It would not be the initial hospitalization if they were admitted yesterday. Admitted yesterday gets billed yesterday. But if you're going around and seeing the patient the day after, it's most definitely, yes, your subsequent hospitalization. Yep. Perfect. They're not in observation. They were admitted to the hospital. Yep. They will say observation if they were. Let's see. See about this one. What's going on with our 487? I want to go look at it first to see what's going on with it. Make sure I don't have any do nots or do's or anything that I should know about this particular code. I should have written down beside it. 487. So we've got complex chronic care management services. And I do have an add-on code, which is our 89, which we can use if we needed to use an additional 30 minutes. The first 87 counts for the very first hour. Probably need to know how much of that additional 30 minutes needs to go by before I can start billing it. Let's see how much time is in this. We have 1 hour and 50 minutes. So if we did 1 hour, we know we get to bill the 87. Anything with 89 we can't bill. So we know we've got that for the first hour. For the additional 50 minutes, do we code this code by itself or this code times 2? So this one does the 1 hour. Then we have 50 minutes left over. What would we bill? Is that enough to bill 2 more 30 minutes? To bill 60 minutes when we only have 50? Or will it only count as 30 minutes because we didn't go all the way to 60 minutes? That's what they want to know if we know our guideline attached to this one. And that's all we needed to know from that question was time. So it's got to be either B or D. Just a couple of you said B. Yep. We have a chart here. If you try to do the math yourself, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So don't forget to always go to these charts when they're available and put in your time. So we had 1 hour and 50 minutes. We see right here, we just code that code with that code. That's it. I got rid of the times oneses on mine because they're confusing. You don't code them that way. Even the answers on the AAPC don't say times 1, so I get rid of those. For it to be 2 hours, you need to have 120 minutes or 2 hours to be able to do the times 2. So always use these charts when they're offered. And it's a time question. So B is your answer. I've got time for one more, and then we'll be done for tonight. And we'll be back on Friday night for 2 more hours. 6:30 Arizona time zone. It's almost 8:30 here right now. And only 95 degrees. And rain is silly. It hasn't rained here in forever. Maybe 10 days a year, if that. New patient. And we've got established, and my favorite code, which is critical care. 10:30. 10:30. So it must be like Alabama, Tennessee, somewhere around in there. Part of the year, whenever y'all fall back or go forward, we will be closer, only an hour apart, because our time never changes. We don't fall forward or go back. We're the only state that doesn't do that. Everybody else does it. It's so weird. It's so hard to keep up, especially when I'm tutoring. Who's in what time zone and what time do I start? What time do they start? Hey, Nancy. Oh, my. Almost midnight. Okay. Are we new, established, what's going on. We do have an established, so we can get rid of that new. Are they in critical care unit? I don't see anything saying critical care, so we could probably get rid of that. Are we doing extra time or not? How much time is in our 215? And how much needs to go over before we add our 17? I think it's 54 minutes, isn't it? 54 minutes. How much time did they do? Over 1 hour. So most definitely we can do our B and go on with our day. Yep, B is our answer. Yep, everything's on Medical Coding by Jen. You can go to my website, Medical Coding by Jen. There's a drop-down menu, guys, that says social media links. You can click on that. Facebook groups on there, TikTok. The YouTube channel is right there. You can watch all my repeat lives. I got to put Mondays and tonights down on it, but everything else is there. And then please join the Discord group. It's free. And you've got tons of support, tons of practice questions in there, how-to, pictures of the books. I was going through it today and just looking at some of the old stuff that I have posted. And just looking at all this stuff, that this is just downloads that I did today of what was in the CPT book prep room, of some of the old good info that we have posted on here about how to deliver twins. That was so cool. Look at this one. This is how to deliver twins too in the global packages that we have. Endographs all broken out for you. Just tons of cool stuff that this was just in the CPT book prep room that I thought was so cool, that I thought, I remember some of that stuff. So I was bringing it down and looking at it today, reminiscing. Look at this mustache on TikTok the other day. I was like, oh my God. Could you imagine sleeping next to that? He'd have to put that thing away. But anyway, that's what I do on TikTok. But yeah, that was funny. That's so cool. She passed Annie, y'all. Annie passed on her first attempt. Isn't that great? We found out today. And Marissa, she passed today too. So I love it. Love it. Thought that was great. Just some of this information that we have posted on that Discord group is so handy, guys. Be sure and follow it. Get in there. Nobody's going to bug you or sell you anything. You're not going to get a ton of emails, but there's just practice questions from people's courses, just tons of stuff that you don't even have to talk to anybody. You can just be in here silently scoping out. And if you're antisocial, that's fine. But there's job resources, CEUs. You can sell your books when you get done. If you do practice code, you can get practice code help here. There's just tons of help. Medical term helps. I got tons of abbreviations and stuff I post in here all the time. Practice questions too. Just really good free resources for you guys. So, plus you get to know when I go live. I post in our main chat room right here every time when I go live. Hopefully I posted it in the right place today. I don't know. Doesn't look like I did, but I thought I tried to. I probably posted it in the wrong room that I was going live. That's the hard part, is keeping up which room I'm in, because I got so many of them. But it's there. It's good room to be in. Good place to be at. And then the YouTube channel. Whoops. Where is that one? Night, Mom. All right. My mom's leaving. YouTube. Where's YouTube? There it is. YouTube videos. I got a ton of them. Well, if I could get into them. My channel. Got a ton of them. So just look for Medical Coding by Jen. Right there. Lots of videos. I've got shorts. I got regular videos. I got a playlist here that you can look at. Just tips and advice, or the repeat lives are right there. A few of the workshops are right there. And just by videos. And they all say repeat live, and then I try to tell you what I did that time, like if it was sequencing or 6000s, integumentary, if it was all evaluation and management, that kind of thing, so you know what I went over for each several hours, but just hours and hours. Look at that, almost 4 hours. Just craziness. So plenty of hours to look at practice questions and learn my tips and tricks. Do I know the cost? What? I don't charge to teach here on TikTok. I don't charge for the Discord. I don't charge for the YouTubes. The only thing I charge for is if I do a Sunday workshop, and those are 3 hours long, and we just do practice questions back to back with no children involved and all that stuff. And they're just $10 if you want to participate on those. I usually do them once or twice a month. I don't have another one scheduled till maybe September. We'll do one in September. And then the other thing is just my notes page by page. If you want page by page, just so you can copy, then you can buy those on my website under the shop for ICD-10, for CPT and HIPICS. But I like to teach you through my lives of how to do it yourself. And those are when I go live. And it's all on TikTok. And you can watch my repeat lives and pause the screens and write down the notes as I show off my books anyway. But if you're in a hurry and you need to buy some chapters, they're there. But I try not to charge for anything that I do. Yes, you have to be a member to take the exam, and the membership is $180 or $190 right now. They did have a discount where it was $120 this year last month if you bought an attempt to buy an exam or to take an exam at the same time. So it was $120 and then $300 to take an exam. So it was a bit of a discount, but they are always sending out emails constantly with discounts and stuff. So also, if you do become a member, you will be a charter member, which means you have your own local charter, and they do have grants where you can get free books and free exams money from AAPC, but you got to apply, and they award those out monthly, and so you got to reapply if you don't win. So AAPC does have grants, so check into that. And I do too. I've given over over 260 hours now free of one-on-one tutoring with people for just the purchase of what's been on the exam in the last 45 days. The proceeds from that goes to giving out free one-on-one tutoring. And I issued another one today for somebody. So lots of help out there if you need it. I hope today was helpful, and I hope to see many of you come back on Friday night for some more. There's plenty of information on AAPC's website and AHIMA's website, yes. I prefer AAPC because you can buy for an extra $100 a second try at the exam, so that you can try twice without paying another $300 and something. Where AHIMA, every time you fail, you got to buy another attempt to do the exam. So Yes, you have to be a member before you can take the exam. You have to have a membership ID number that is going to be attached to your exam, and you have to bring that number with you when you go in person to take the exam, and it also has to be attached to your exam if you take your exam online. So they're going to make you pay that $190, yes. The test will change January 1st, 2023. New books, the new CPT book will be out in October of 2022, but the exam will not change until January 1st, but it will change on January 1st. It is not hard to get a job with CPCA. I know many people that have CPCAs and got on right with Optum, and that's a work from home place. It's contract work, no benefits, but it's cash pay. I think it's $25, $28, somewhere around there an hour. It's work from home. They train you from home. There's a month-long training, 40 hours a week, and then you work from home as a contract employee. If you are good and you work as a contract for a period of time, then you can be considered as a full-time employee at some point in your life, but it gets you experience and gets you in the door, and you can work from home. There's not much, I mean, that's great. At least it's not customer service out at Walmart somewhere, you know, it's great. All right, guys, I'm going to pop off here and go hang out with the boys for a few more minutes before it's bedtime. I hope this is helpful. I will be back on Friday night, 6:30 Arizona time zone. And I appreciate all the gifters and all the hearts and people that have. Don't be surprised if I follow you, because everybody that stays with me the whole live, I follow everybody that hangs out and follows. So that's all. Just wanted y'all to know. I'll be watching y'all's TikToks too. It's super fun. Anyway, guys, I hope this is helpful, and I will see y'all again on Friday. Thanks, Twinkle.